Sports Clash Radio with your hosts, Chad and JC Martin.
Hey everybody, Chad here for another edition of Sports Clash Radio, and with me as always is JC, and we're going to talk NFL. It was a big weekend in NFL. Week 3 is come and gone, and we're going to start out Thursday night football. Houston Texans taking on the New England Patriots, and it really looked like New England was set up for an opportunity for Houston to actually beat New England because they were down another quarterback.
You're on your third string quarterback who is a rookie.
Yep, Jacoby Brissett, but he looked anything but a rookie. He was pretty poised in there, and while he didn't set the world on fire,
No,
he also did not set them up to fail at all. He looked as poised as he could be getting ready on such short notice.
And then you got 20 plus carries out of LeGarrette Blount for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know what?
That supporting game is always good.
LeGarrette Blount looked like Superman out there hurtling people.
He's really, for the last 2 weeks, has really carried that team on his back ever since Garoppolo went down. And this just goes to show again, Bill Belichick is probably the greatest NFL coach.
Hands down.
You want to say maybe ever, but because I have rarely seen a coach do as much with so many different players. You can't say, well, this team was only great in this era because he had these teams.
It's like he
can do anything. It's
his
amazing.
system, is more or less flawless because no matter who he puts in there, they succeed.
They do, and I am not a New England fan.
And he's been doing it for 16 years in New England, just success
If
after success.
If you're just not, if you're one of those people that still refuse to give Bill Belichick his due just because you don't like New England, then you're insane.
Right.
You're just nuts because you have to give that man his credit. He gets a team up and he gets that team ready. And it just goes to show that they can still roll regardless. You have Baltimore beat Jacksonville this weekend, 19-17. Now, this is one of the rare times that you see this whole catch thing. What's a catch and what's not a catch? We saw that on full display this weekend in 2 games, 2 simultaneous games. The first was in Baltimore, in Jacksonville. There was an overturned call for a catch for a touchdown. It was a perfect call. The ball was caught. It didn't move. It was a catch. He made the turn, got in there, and it was good. When we talk about how Des Bryant's catch wasn't a catch, did the same thing with Megatron a year later. But this one, and you could tell he made a football move, and it wasn't anything different. But the ball was secured. It didn't move. That's actually not true. After he hit the ground, he hit the ground with the ball, and the ball came out. But he'd already made the move. He got down, and when he rolled over, the guy kind of punched it out, and it was an obvious touchdown. They got the call right. That's sports. It's football. You can't just say, well, he's got to hang on to the ball until he gets back to the bench, because that's really what they seem like they're trying to tell you.
How long do you have to hold on to the ball? Do you have to be down on the field for 5 minutes with the ball held to your chest?
And that's the most frustrating thing. And then you turn over to the Redskins and Giants game, and what was a sure interception, the guy's knee was down in the end zone. In football, 1 knee equals 2 feet. Same thing with an elbow. If it's down, it counts as being 2 feet. That's always been the rule. It'll always be the rule. Guy was down, he had the ball, and finally slid out of bounds, and they still called it incomplete. They reviewed it, still called it incomplete, and this is an instance where they got it wrong. There is no consistency in this rule whatsoever. None. There just isn't. These guys, it's just pretty much left to these guys' own decision out there as to what's going to be a catch and what's not a catch. And these guys are amazing athletes. We talked about this before. But to go out there and just be able to hang on to a ball when you're getting destroyed and hit and coming down as fast as the game is, and to do that, I can understand if you're bobbling the ball and it's, there's a lot of question of whether that was really catchable. You get 2 feet down, turn, make a move, and hanging on to the football. Even if you slide out of bounds and the ball comes free, you've held it from the point of contact with your body, held it up against your body, hit the ground, and then slid, and then the ball comes out. Come on.
But
that's crazy to me.
The greatest thing from this whole New York-Washington game, without a doubt, was Odell Beckham literally crying on the sideline, tear coming down his face, swinging his helmet at the kicking net.
And the kicking net hitting him back.
Just crushed him across the face.
That's terrible.
So, Odell Beckham, you want to act like a child, The kicking net will treat you like one.
It did. That was ridiculous. I could not believe that. I mean, it was. Yeah, and I can understand his frustration because they should have beat Washington, but to Washington's credit, they didn't quit in this game at all. They just kept fighting through it.
And a rookie, Sua Cravens, with the big interception at the end of the game to win it.
And that was with 103 left. Eli throws that last pick. They're talking about game on the line. You want the ball in Eli's hands, and then that's football. Boy, it's tough. Oakland Raiders beat Tennessee Titans. I'd actually, if I picked them, have picked Tennessee to win this game.
Well, Oakland tried to give Tennessee the game several times.
But this speaks to Tennessee and the fact that even though you want to give them something, they just decide, we'll just give it right back. We're a giving team. We know you want to give us an opportunity, and we'll just give it back to you because we don't want your opportunity. That's pretty much the Tennessee Titans this year. The Titans' offensive line, you're down there right at the goal line, and then the play is over, and then you got these idiot offensive linemen running down there to pile on and get late hits.
Taylor LeWan specifically.
Stupid. You cannot make idiotic errors like that. You have to be smarter than that. And people can say, well, it's the moment in the game. Your adrenaline's rushing. I don't care. You're an offensive lineman. You're paid to be smart. You're paid to dissect where these plays are coming from and where they're going. You've got the intelligence to know that I'm fixing to run another 10 yards and whack somebody. You can't do that.
Now, did you see Kirk Herbstreit's comments about this play?
No.
So, Taylor LeWan is the one who goes in there super late and gets the flag called on him. Well, Kirk Herbstreit tweeted out that, because of that particular play, Taylor LeWan's a dummy. Which, that's fine. I get that. Maybe that could be a little friendly verbal jab between an Ohio State guy and a Michigan guy. That makes sense. But then Kirk Herbstreit called Taylor LeWan a fake tough guy.
Oh, wow. I missed that one.
Taylor LeWan is 6'7", 325 pounds of pure meanness. That's been the one thing everyone said about this guy from the day he got to the NFL. Is he was ready for a fight. Every single play, for 60 minutes, this guy is ready to go.
Yeah.
Throw what you can at him because he's got it. And so Kirk Herbstreit might want to pick his words a little more carefully there.
And definitely not go visit the Titans
right
soon. Arizona Cardinals just got destroyed by the Buffalo Bills. Again, this was another team I had easily winning. Even started them in my fantasy league. It was Arizona's defense because they've been rolling. And Buffalo Bills put up 33 points and probably should have been more. Carson Palmer threw 4 interceptions.
I feel your pain because I started Carson Palmer in my fantasy league.
So you were upset. You were not a happy man when that
right,
came down.
because the Jets, whose offense is not as good as the Cardinals, destroyed Buffalo.
Exactly.
Just lit them up. But Carson Palmer, their offensive production was anemic.
Yeah, it was bad. Detroit lost to Green Bay 27-34. Green Bay's offense finally got rolling.
In the first half.
Yeah.
Second half was rather
disappeared again, but it was, and they tried to make a run at the very end, couldn't do it, just too big of a lead to overcome. Denver Broncos just keep doing it. And it wasn't one of these defensive battles to where they had to win with their defense. Simeon proved he can throw that ball downfield, because he was, just lighting it up. Emmanuel Sanders looks like a #1 receiver out there the way he's been playing. It's just been, of course, the year I don't pick him on my fantasy football team, he does awesome things.
Of course.
Any other year, he wouldn't. But because I didn't pick him.
That's because you didn't make a sacrifice to the fantasy football guy.
Exactly.
Had you made the sacrifice, you would have been fine.
No, I'd have made a sacrifice when you look at my lineup. God, I'm helping other people win enough. Minnesota Vikings just beat up Carolina. Another one, I lost again because you would think, and here's the thing, I've always liked Sam Bradford, even though he's from Oklahoma, and as a Texas fan, not an Oklahoma fan. But he's been injured so much, he's bounced around from here to there. Didn't have a bad year in Philly last year, didn't have a great year, but he just came into the Vikings organizations right before the season started, missed the first game. He leads this team to a 22-10 victory. That Vikings defense is insane.
Right.
Those guys are solid.
That's why the Vikings are winning here.
But
let's be honest.
But the thing is, they don't win in spite of him, though. He manages that game, and he takes care of business. He doesn't go out there and make stupid plays.
Sam Bradford's not going to win you a game either.
He hates Sam Bradford. You can't just put it all. Sam Bradford did.
Yeah, I can.
Can't.
What other quarterback in NFL history has made $72 million for being subpar at best?
Sam Bradford, the smart one.
Sam Bradford, the fragile one. Sam Bradford, the inadequate one.
Who's still playing and who's still getting paid?
His agent is the smart one.
Who is 2-0 this year?
This 1 year.
But
he's finally won 2 games in the season for the first time in his career.
Now league. It is a right now league, not a last year league. It's what can you do for me right now? Sam Bradford's getting it done.
Sam Bradford's not getting it done. That Vikings defense is getting it done.
Scam Newton, on the other hand, whoa. It was
it was
tough.
Cam, I'm throw this question out there at you. So you got this guy. I know he tore his ACL last year. He wasn't out there last season. But how did you forget about him? I mean, he's 6'5", 220 pounds. Goes by the name of Kelvin Benjamin,
who is a beast.
He's a big ass target.
How do you miss that guy?
Kelvin Benjamin had 1 target in the entire game. Had no catches.
Exactly. That's the guy you have to get the ball to, because as big as he is, he's going to be able to beat most people and fight off most people for that football.
And I had Kelvin Benjamin in one of my fantasy leagues. I started him. Guess who I started him over? I started him over Marvin Jones of the Detroit Lions.
Oops.
Who only went off for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oops. See, I put Kelvin Benjamin in 2 of my DraftKings teams. So you can imagine how many points I got for him. Hurt my ranking pretty badly. So you had, before we move on, do you think Carolina defense is missing Josh Norman a little bit?
No. I think they're missing a lot of things right now.
I think so too. I think it's more than just Josh Norman. You can see that in Washington, and how they're playing.
Right. They have Josh Norman and they're struggling to win games.
Exactly. Cleveland Browns lose to Miami 24-30 in overtime. This game should never have gotten to overtime. Your field goal kicker cannot miss 3 field goals, makeable field goals, and stay on that team.
But, that's why the Eagles got rid of Cody Parkey.
I mean, that is so ridiculous. I mean, that game was still by the Browns. This poor team has tried to do everything it can to reinvent itself. They played through quarterback injuries. They're still playing tough. They're playing strong. There's a lot of fighting in the Browns.
They let Terrell Pryor run the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball.
Oh my goodness! And they were playing so good. And then it's sad when you drive down there and know that you're going to have to score touchdowns because you can't rely on your field goal kicker to do anything. They still had a chance at the end of the game to win. Got gifted a fumble, and still missed another easy field goal.
But Cleveland, they don't draft well.
Nope.
They're just signing free agents and hoping that there's going to be some kind of natural chemistry that happens. And it's not going to work for them.
Yeah.
They've been doing this for the better part of 17 years now since they've been back in Cleveland.
Exactly.
At some point, it's obvious that it's not working. Just let it go. Try something else. It's okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be a new head coach, but it needs to be a new organizational philosophy.
Something. I mean, because what they're doing is not working. Jay Ajayi runs it in, overtime, touchdown, Miami second possession of overtime. San Francisco, who looked like they might start getting on track, at least defensively, just got beat up by a Seattle team who last week couldn't score to save their life. And that's being without Russell Wilson for the better part of the game. He went out with a leg injury. And Trevon Boykin came in and just continued going. They embarrassed.
But Trevon Boykin is a quarterback in the vein of Russell Wilson.
Well, that's why they brought him in.
Right. So for Pete Carroll to grab him after the draft, because I think Boykin went undrafted.
Yeah.
Out of TCU, where he absolutely lit it up. So for Boykin to be there, it's just a natural segue from Russell to Boykin. You don't really miss a whole lot except for the experience.
Exactly.
But the crazy part to me here is San Francisco shut out the Los Angeles Rams.
Exactly.
Shut them out. The Rams did not score a point. Then the Rams turn around, they get a 9-3 win over the Seahawks. Because for whatever reason, Seattle can't beat the Rams. Doesn't matter if they're in Los Angeles or St. Louis, they can't beat them.
If you don't believe in voodoo, you should.
Right.
You need to check the LA locker room, the coaching staff, because some of those guys practice witchcraft. That's the only explanation.
The Rams are doing something to where they beat Seattle, but then Seattle comes out here and blows out San Francisco. I think this is twice in the last 3 seasons that San Francisco had a stellar opening game and then just fell off the next week, and that carried on and carried out. You know, how long before they moved to Colin Kaepernick?
Oh my God. Hopefully never.
Well, you know.
Hopefully never.
He's got more talent and more skill than Blaine Gabbert.
Well, that's not saying much. Still, I hope not.
Colin Kaepernick's at least been in he played in 3 NFC championships.
Yeah.
Played in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
If I'm going with one quarterback on that roster, it's Colin Kaepernick all day, every day.
But so did Trent Dilfer. Doesn't give me hope.
But Colin Kaepernick can make more plays than Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer dinked and dimed. That defense won a Super Bowl.
San Francisco's defense got him there too.
But Colin Kaepernick could actually make big plays with his arms and with his legs.
That was when Colin Kaepernick, he has regressed. That's the problem with Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, let's not go say Colin Kaepernick and Trent Dilfer are the same thing.
Here's the thing. Colin Kaepernick has just totally regressed in his playmaking ability. It's like after they got to the Super Bowl and made it those NFC championships, it's like, you know, what do I do now? I think it's time for me to suck because everybody's talking so many good things about me. Because they were putting him and Russell Wilson right there together as these 2 phenomenal players. And as Russell Wilson is kept on being, I don't want to say elite, but you might as well. He is. I mean, he keeps winning and keeps doing good things. I just like Russell Wilson as a human being.
You know what Russell Wilson's kept that Kaepernick is not?
What's that?
A head coach.
Yes, he has.
Russell Wilson's had Pete Carroll's whole career.
And that's where I think
Kaepernick hit his stride with Jim Harbaugh.
Exactly. This is where, when people are saying, you know, it's all about the players, and I say it a lot, you know, the head coach can only do so much. Players still have to play, but you still have to have that head coach who knows how to put players in a winning position. You know, those things go hand in hand. That's why football is the ultimate team sport. It always has been, and it always will be, for that very reason. The one thing that these teams have in common that win championships is the cohesion between the players and the coaches. If you don't have that, you don't win. Going back to Bill Belichick, that's why he wins, because he makes sure his team plays like a team, and these guys can step in and take over at any moment, and they know just as much as the starters do. So if you're back up for that team, there's no excuse. You're expected to play as a starter, and that's what San Francisco lacks. I mean, Lord, you see who they got, Chip Kelly as their head coach, so not a fan of that either. Probably needs to return to college football. San Diego Chargers played Indianapolis Colts. Indy picks up a win finally, 26-22, and I wrote down here
just because Hunter Henry collapsed.
Exactly. The biggest play was when he hit T.Y. Hilton, who just kept running. Decided, you know what, today I'm not going to stop running for anything. I don't have Moncrief out here to help out either, so I'm going to have to just pick it up, and he did. Finally put the Colts up for good at the end of the game.
But, you know, if Andrew Luck has been throwing to his tight ends a little bit more this year.
Yeah, he has.
But he's not throwing to them consistently. Like, Dwayne Allen is your most talented tight end, without a doubt.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to get him the ball. You know, especially with Moncrief being down, that leaves you with T.Y. Hilton, and I'm trying to think of the name of the receivers they drafted last year, and it's escaping my mind. But those are your 2 options. At some point, Dwayne Allen's got to get really integrated into this offense.
And for that, your quarterback has to do it. The Battle of Pennsylvania, you had Philadelphia Eagles just totally beat down the Steelers this week. I mean, I really did not see that coming. I knew it would be a good game and really either one could win, but the way Pittsburgh has been playing this season to start off the season, I really thought they would have showed up, and they're right there in their home state.
Right.
And they did not. I mean, Carson Wentz just is, he's impressive. He doesn't play like a rookie, and he has so much poise out there, and it's filtering down through his team. And the defense for the Philadelphia Eagles has only given up 27 points through 3 games. Total through 3 games.
But how long can they keep that up?
Well, we're gonna find out. I mean, because they've got a hefty schedule coming too. But
their defense, they have players on defense, but I don't think they have a defensive unit. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean,
Jordan Hicks, the linebacker, Fletcher Cox at defensive tackle, like these guys have talent.
Yeah.
But is it that Carson Wentz is able to put together these long drives so they stay off the field? Or is it that their defense is really just shutting people down?
Well, I think that's part of it. I mean, they're not stopping the Philly offense, so they're scoring. So that changes the way you have to play offense to try to keep up with these guys. So you can't play the style that you go in there with.
I think this Eagles team is just playing above their talent right now.
Sure,
and I don't think they'll maintain it.
I hope you're right about that. Being a Dallas Cowboy fan, I really hope you're right about that. New York Jets going to Kansas City, and
this was infuriating.
Oh my God! While the Jets physically went to Kansas City, they left their mental toughness somewhere between the moon and New York City, because they did not show up at all. It's like they never got off the plane to play football. They just went in there and decided, you know what, we're really just going to give y'all a win today because we're not going to try. We're going to look like it. We're going to dress up in our uniforms, but we're not going to do anything today. So it was just blah to see.
Todd Bowles, let me talk to you, buddy. Look, I know your quarterback is Ryan Fitzpatrick, but you have Eric Decker. You have Brandon Marshall. Inawaz looked really good this season. You have Matt Forte, which is probably the most underappreciated running back in football since he's come into the league. I don't understand how you can't get this offense going. I know you're a defensive guy, and that's your thing, but you gave up 24 points while your offense only put up 3. How come you're not putting this team in a better position to succeed? Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 6 interceptions yesterday.
I know, it's ridiculous.
6 interceptions!
That's a season's worth for some of these quarterbacks, and that's crazy. Tampa Bay went to L.A. to the Coliseum and got beat by the Rams.
Right. The Rams finally scored more than 9 points.
Oh my goodness, and they put up 37.
The Rams had 9 points total on the season coming into this game. And that's it. They had not scored a touchdown this season until this game.
They more than made up for it in this game. And what was crazy was the game got delayed at the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter by a lightning storm that lasted for an hour before they finally got to come back and finish out the game. But the Rams got their win. I mean, that's amazing. It's 2 in a row. Can't believe that, but they just destroyed Tampa Bay. And Jameis Winston had some phenomenal numbers, but their defense just could not do anything with L.A. Sunday night football, the Chicago Bears just continued to slide down the rabbit hole. They went to Dallas and just got destroyed by the Dak Prescott-led Cowboys offense, along with Ezekiel Elliott. Dallas jumped out to that early lead. It's kind of what we talked about with Philly over Pittsburgh, and there was no way that the Bears could match up and play football.
I was watching this game Sunday night with my best friend, and we were sitting there that first drive when Dallas got down the field, and they got down to the 1 or 2 yard line. I think it was the 1 yard line. And my buddy Zach looks at me and he's like, man, what are they going to do here? They're going to give it to Zeke, right? Because he has Ezekiel Elliott on a fantasy team. I was like, no, dude. I think they're about to do something that no one ever expects out of the Cowboys. He was like, what's that? I was like, quarterback sneak all the way. And sure enough, there's Dak, pushed the pile, and got in there.
He took a lick, too, though. Woo, man, he took a lick.
But, he got in.
Tough dude.
When you have a big body quarterback like that, who's got big, strong legs and can push a pile, that's a great weapon to have.
And that was after Dez and Cole Beasley got hurt on that first series. Dez hurt his knee. They still haven't done an MRI on his leg yet. Steve Spiney came back, finished the game, caught Dak's first touchdown pass finally of the season. After all his touchdown passes go to the 1 yard line or the half yard line.
Right, that was there. Because the one where he got in, that he had a long throw that got down to the 1 yard line.
Yep.
I think Alfred Morris's touchdown run came off of
the Cole Beasley
pass. And then finally, to see him get in with Dez. Dez only had 3 catches for 40 yards, but he had that Dak Prescott touchdown. So I think that's Dak's first multiple touchdown game as well, is what we can consider it, even though it was a run and a pass. But it's an impressive showing for Dak. I mean, he was just shy of 300 yards.
Exactly.
Touchdown pass, touchdown run.
99 passes without interceptions to start his career as a rookie.
The only person with more, Carson
Wentz. Two rookies who have come in, and where Carson Wentz was drafted super high.
Right. Second pick overall.
Cleveland and LA, and then we got to be scratching our heads. Why do we give up on this guy? I still don't get that. It goes back to your point about Cleveland not knowing what the hell they're doing in the draft room. But
it made sense for the Titans to trade out of that spot.
Exactly.
Just because they got their quarterback the year before.
Exactly. But, man, him and Dak are just tearing it up, and I love it. It's a great thing to have.
In this game, you also got to see Ezekiel Elliott's first 100-yard performance as a professional.
And you can see him running a little bit better and a little bit differently. I mean, that hurdle that everybody's talking about, the memes all over the internet right now, I mean, hurtling everything, the White House.
The Brooklyn Bridge.
It's just crazy, but it was a great game. Last night, Monday Night Football, the Atlanta Falcons beat New Orleans Saints 45-32. Saints cannot win anything, it looks like. They have played directly to their competition each and every week. It has been close every game.
So, in one of my fantasy leagues, I was down by 38 points. I had Devontae Freeman to play. The other guy had no one. I had Devontae Freeman. If Devontae Freeman gets into the end zone on that last drive, whether it's the long run or that last play where he just bounced it inside and got tackled at like the 5-yard line, had he gotten into the end zone there, I would have won the game by 0.2 points and successfully completed almost a 40-point deficit comeback.
Fantasy football. Devontae's awesome, man.
Devontae Freeman, mad props to you, dude. You tore it up last night.
I picked him in my DraftKings league. He actually made up for the whole Kelvin Benjamin thing because he rolled on some fantasy points.
But it was funny because I was facing a guy in another league. He had Devontae Freeman. I had Drew Brees. And so he was gaining on me. I had a comfortable cushion going. I had a 30-point cushion going into the game.
So Drew Brees was still playing and throwing some touchdowns.
Right.
So.
Even though he was throwing interceptions, like he was still throwing touchdowns. So anything that he got with Devontae Freeman was pretty much neutralized.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the power rankings real quick. Denver takes over that number 1 slot. You know, they were number 5 last week.
And I think number 1's too high.
You think so?
Yeah, I think New England has earned the right to be number 1.
I think they do too.
They've shown that you can put anyone in there. They can put Peter Griffin in at quarterback, and he's going to win the game.
And I actually agree with you because there's no way that you can do that with a number 3 quarterback, still put a whooping on somebody and shut them out and not be the number 1 team in the NFL right now.
But to the Broncos' credit, you know, Trevor Simeon's not the guy.
I never even heard of him.
In Denver.
Until this offseason.
That's because he was like a 6th-round pick last year.
Exactly. So you don't hear about this guy. Here he is leading your team, and they're 3-0.
Right. At some point this year, this whole dream world that Denver's living in is going to collapse in on itself. And when it does, Paxton Lynch is going to be the guy, their 1st-round pick out of the University of Memphis.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that as the year goes on.
So, you know... Of course, I don't have any say in the power rankings, but I would have New England in it too.
Seattle Seahawks are number 3, moved up from 10 to number 3. You know.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
About that.
Like
I think that's just
you lost to the Rams.
Yeah, I mean you can't sit there and say that. I mean the Minnesota Vikings at number 4.
That makes sense.
I think they maybe should be number 3.
Look who they've beaten.
Exactly. That's what I mean. I mean you're just pandering to the Seattle Seahawks at this point. Arizona Cardinals in number 5. They only dropped 2 spots after getting beat by the hapless Bills. Green Bay Packers are at number 6. I'm still not sure that they even.
Well,
I don't know.
I can agree with that because of what the Packers have done traditionally, and their only loss is to the Vikings, who are ranked ahead of them.
Yeah, they're just struggling. Philadelphia Eagles are at number 7. After the beating they put on Pittsburgh, not surprised.
They've earned that.
Pittsburgh was number 2 last week.
Right. The Eagles have earned that through this week. I don't think this will maintain either.
Yeah, Carolina's 8. Like I said, Pittsburgh dropped to 9. Baltimore Ravens are 10. Dallas 11. Kansas City 12. Cincinnati 13. Oakland 14. And Giants at 15.
Which I think maybe Oakland's might be too high. like, I want to believe that Oakland is better than advertised, but when you struggle like that against a really bad Titans team,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't look good. Oakland has the talent. They've got a solid offensive line. They've got a couple of good running backs. Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree. The offense is fine. On defense, you got Khalil Mack. I mean, if Alden Smith is doing what he's supposed to do, he's a great defensive lineman.
Yeah.
But they need more help on that defense, and once they do, they're going to be terrifying.
Yeah. Another great week of football. It was a great weekend of sports.